in Fort Worth. Friday Night Fights has come to the Fort Worth Convention Center. Of course, Brian Vera has been fighting Texas tough throughout his whole career, and now Sergio Mora has come to his turf for our main event, the recent world titleist with all the fame, being the Contender Season 1 champ, cashing that $1 million check, and now trying to move forward in his career after what many feel was a lackluster evening in a draw with future Hall of Famer Sugar Shane Mosley. Mora with a trainer change for this fight. Been with Dean Campos since he was 15 years old. He said, "I'm not listing a head trainer. Jeremy Williams will work his corner." He was with him during the Contender Series as an advisor. John Montalongo helped out with training. But this will be a new approach for the Latin Snake. Won the WBC 154-pound title with a win over the late Vernon Forrest. It was a hard-fought 12-round decision. 3 months later, Forrest would win the belt back.
It's been a ride. I guess I had to go to that place to get to this.
And Brian Vera, who was originally from right here in Fort Worth, but has been living and training in Austin. He's come back here to fight. He will do so tonight in front of what we expect to be a partisan crowd. The Texas native, always tough and determined, capable of pulling off upsets. He's done that before on Friday Night Fights. A career brawler who is not known for defense, but he's been working on more movement under new trainer Mike Delaware, his second fight with Vera. Teddy is standing by live ringside with the fight plan.
All right, Joe, let's stay with the football theme. Why don't we? Now, Mora, he's going to be the slicker guy, going to be a little bit of the quicker guy. He's going to have to deal with a blitz because that's what Vera's going to be doing, looking to blitz him. But when he blitzes, a little bit wide punches, maybe punch, bang, bang, inside that blitz a little bit. Also, something to look for. I noticed that Vera likes to jab to the body, but he tilts forward a little bit. When he tilts forward, leaves himself open, tilts forward. If you're Mora, bang. If you do that, you're Mora, or you're going to Disney World. Well, I don't know if you're going to Disney World like the football players, but you're going to get a nice win. Now for Vera, what's he got to deal with? Well, he's a guy coming. I think he's the more physical guy. He's the bigger guy. He wants to stack the box. Put 8 in the box. In other words, get inside. Get in those trenches. Maybe a goal line stance. If you're Vera, you get inside, you work your way in a little bit, you get in close. And I noticed that Mora, when he's being slick, he leans on the right a little bit, susceptible to the right hand, maybe leaves the body open a little bit over here. So again, if you're Vera, you get inside, you get in there, you put 8 in the box, you bang to the body, bang, and you go upstairs, bang. Maybe you get a fumble. You get a fumble, you get a score. You get a score, get a nice win.
That was a sharp fight plan, right? John Gruden would approve of that fight plan right there. Oh, the plan for Brian Vera is to do what he did last June up in Montreal when he was in the hometown of Sebastian Demers, a 31-win fighter. And Brian scored 2 knockdowns in the third, had that left hook right hand combination, and then a couple of right hands later, and Demers was in trouble. A TKO victory for Brian Vera. Of course, he also had one of his career best wins on Friday Night Fights. That's when he defeated the then unbeaten Andy Lee. He TKO'd Andy Lee back in 2008 in the 7th round of their fight in Uncasville, Connecticut. Cascade of boos as Mora is announced. Now that's the plan for the Texas fans. You see as they come together there. Referee Jesse Reyes, the slight height advantage for Mora. A very angular and awkward fighter is Mora.
Yeah, he's the taller guy, but he's the smaller guy. He started his career, Joe, at junior middleweight. Half his fights at junior middle and half at middleweight, but never above 161, while Vera has been 168 4 times. Now, never above 161 for Mora until tonight. The heaviest of his career. What does that mean? We're going to find out. Mora came in 163 tonight. 6 pounds more than he was in his last fight. Don't forget now, Vera, he's in there with a southpaw. He's in there with Mora, who switches a lot. Mora will switch to southpaw. He loves to do that. He's orthodox 1 second. He'll be your southpaw the next second. Try to confuse you a little bit. Vera has fought plenty of southpaws, so I don't think he'll be confused when Mora goes into that switch. Mora loves to fight in spots. He'll move a little bit, he'll fight a little bit, but only in spots. He's not afraid to grab you a little bit more on the inside, and he'll look to counter a little bit on the inside too, if you get a little careless, if you leave an opening. I thought he did some pretty good countering down the stretch with Shane Mosley. I don't know how much credit he got from everybody watching the fight, but I think the judges saw that when they wound up scoring it a draw. He came on late in that fight.
You know, interesting about that fight, Teddy, because many ringside observers feel that it was indeed a draw, that was the appropriate decision. Many who watched the fight on TV felt Shane Mosley won the fight, but I would strongly suggest that anyone who thought that Shane Mosley was flat out robbed in that fight, read Graham Houston's post-fight recap online. He does the best job of summarizing that fight and giving very good objective perspective as to the realities of what happened that night.
Yeah, Graham Houston's been around a while, so he knows what he's looking at, and he wrote that it looked like a draw, and it also looked like HBO was pro Mosley.
Hey, listen, there's many times where the fight that comes across on TV, and folks like you and I, we can really shape and skew what people are thinking about a fight. That may have been one of those where ringside saw it differently than the viewer saw it.
It might have been, and Mora was very upset by that broadcast. And we've upset fighters too in the past.
Absolutely we have.
So you never know.
There's a left hand from Vera, and Mora nods.
Well, Mora nodded because he pulled back. When he pulled back, he got knotted with a left hook. You don't pull back from left hooks. You weave them or you slip inside them.
And then Mora comes on strong at the end of one.
Live from Cameron.
Talked in the fight plan about that. Mora give you the right hand to the body, leaning on the right. Well, Vera took that right hand to the body, and as Mora pulled back a little bit, he found the left hook. He walked him right into that left hook. Good job by the experienced Vera.
Brian Vera, the veteran middleweight from right here in Texas.
Vera has lost 4 of his last 5, but some pretty good fighters. Most of his fights have been in Texas. Vera was knocked out 2 times, both by strong punches, and that's not the case tonight. Mora, a good fighter, but not what you would call a good fighter.
Yeah, the last time he was stopped was against James Kirkland, and the gap in power between James Kirkland and Sergio Mora is quite significant.
Night and day.
Stylistically, completely different fighters.
You go back 2 fights, little inactivity for Mora. Was off just over 1.5 years.
Let him go. Break!
There's what I was talking about in the fight plan. Look for it, Joe, a little bit. Look for it at home. Vera likes to jab to that body. He'll reach in a little bit when he does it, and I think leave himself maybe a little open for right-hand counters. You won't see a right-hand counter now, though, because Mora decides to turn southpaw. Now he's back to where that right hand could be in position to counter.
Vera was quick to talk about jabbing to the chest of Mora, saying he's so wiry, he gives you angles, that's where you have to be. Mora comes in, landed the left hand, and now Vera comes firing right back. Combination, trying to place a few to the body.
When you fight a guy who moves his head for defense the way Mora does, it's a good idea to go downstairs where it's not moving, to that body. And it looks like Vera understands that.
There's a right hand as Mora was dipping down.
Right now, it's pretty simple. Vera's just outworking Mora and keeping Mora defensively, or keeping him defensive. I think sometimes Mora, if there's a flaw in his armor, kink in that armor, sometimes he goes defensive a little too long. He gets himself like now, gets himself into all those defensive moves, and he allows his opponent to be busy, and Vera taking advantage of just that.
Just off the mark with that left hand. Mora fires back. There's a short left hook by Sergio Mora.
He's got to do more of that. It's one thing to make the guy miss, but it's another thing to come back. Now he's coming back in between the misses. He needs to do more of that.
He landed two good right hands there. Let's check in with Sal.
Hey, Joe, you said Fort Worth was Pittsburgh Steelers country, and with Eugene Bright, tight end of the Steelers, getting ready for Super Bowl 45, ringside Friday night fights. You got to like ringside action.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You know, the sweat is getting on me right now. It's really getting on me.
And I saw a big line of Steelers fans here to get your autograph. The Steelers fans really travel well, don't they, Eugene?
Yeah, they're awesome. The Steelers fans are the best fans in the country. They travel well. They're even helping me out with some of these Dallas fans that keep booing us in the back right here. So that's cool.
Are you ready for Super Bowl 45 in the Green Bay Packers?
Absolutely. We're absolutely ready for these guys. You know, we prepared hard all week, all last week, and we can't wait for the game to get here.
Good luck on Sunday, Eugene.
Thank you.
I got to tell you, Joe, I'm very impressed with Teddy and his football analogies. He should be on NFL matchup with me, Jaws, and Haji.
Hey,
back to you, Joe.
I'll take that invitation, Sal.
Thank you, Sal. I wish my agent would think a little bit more proactive that way. Thank you.
I'd love to see you on there breaking down the weekly NFL. Of course, hey, your son, we should, a little disclosure here. Your son works in the NFL. He's on the staff of the Cleveland Browns most recently. He's out there as a staff free agent of sorts in this offseason. And you've been NFL connected for many years.
Yeah, my son, I'm very proud of my son, Teddy. He was in the player personnel department working as a scout with Mangini over in Cleveland for the last 2 years. And with Mangini being let go, of course, most of the people there were let go. And my son now in between jobs and went out to the Senior Bowl recently and interviewed with a few general managers, and we're hoping somebody's going to pick him up.
Round number 3 here. Vera and Mora. Brian Vera off to a good start. Scheduled for 10.
Again, you see Mora, his style. And this fight is about styles as much as any fight. Mora likes to just pop a little bit in spots. And while he's not popping, Vera is popping. And that's where Vera's controlling this fight, because Mora does only fight in spots. And if you don't give him those spots, you have a good chance of doing well with him. Vera has a good fight plan. Mora goes defensive too long, Vera takes advantage. Mora wants to work, Vera, for the most part, steps out, doesn't let him work, doesn't engage him.
Mora scored with the right hand moments ago. Comes forward now. Here's one of those spots that you talk about before he ties up on the inside.
My mentor, Cus D'Amato, used to say, you know, the hardest part is making a guy miss. Mora's doing the hard part, he's making him miss. Cus used to yell at us if we didn't punch back. He used to say, you're doing the hard part, do the fun part. Punch back in between. And again, Mora needs to do a little bit more punching in between the misses.
Tried to catch Vera coming in that time. right hand was off the mark.
Mora will give you different looks, different dimensions. He'll pop on the outside a little bit, use those legs a little bit, and he'll go inside and look to stay with you in spots. For the most part, Vera's looking to get in your kitchen.
Race! Mark, let's go!
Sergio Mora, Brian Vera. End of the round, of course. Mora, one of the more expressive fighters we've covered through the years. A little nod to Vera, and then in that last round, a smirk, and he plays to the crowd. More to come. Stay with us.
This is the best.
There's Sergio Mora. WBO has him number 6. BC's got him number 8 at 154 pounds. Of course, a former titleist at junior middleweight. Tonight came in for this fight, was contracted at 163 against Brian Vera.
You know, Mora's dealing with more than just an oncoming Vera. He's also dealing with the fact that this is the first time as an amateur or pro he is not with his trainer, Dean Campos, in the corner. Dean Campos has been with him since he's 15 years old. Matter of fact, it was interesting. Mora said in the bio material, I don't want a head trainer named. So that's a private thing. Obviously, he knows why he doesn't have Dean Campos with him anymore, but he does have a pretty good guy with him in the corner, Jeremy Williams, former heavyweight and cruiserweight contender.
And a guy who was part of the Contender Series. And he views Jeremy as more of a motivator, a guy who can keep him focused in the corner. He worked with John Montalongo for training camp, but different circumstances for Mora.
And in the corner with Brian Vera is Mike Delaware in his second fight now with Vera.
Vera's father, by the way, was a pro heavyweight. He was off to the gym with Dad starting at the age of 4.
Vera has been involved in fights with head clashes. Wouldn't be surprised if you saw that tonight. Both fighters have been cut, probably more so. He's been cut over the right eye in his last fight, and he was cut over the left eye 2 fights ago. I think there's some scar tissue over that left eye of Mora. We'll see whether or not cuts come into play.
Vera fighting his way back to the center of the ring. Mora trying to tie up, and Vera was still letting loose with that right hand. Now the break from Reyes.
The reason why Vera's been involved in head clashes is his style, always coming forward. And Mora, you can see, he doesn't shy away either. His head leaning forward. That time he pulled back and ate a little leather.
It's a good, sharp shot by Brian Vera. Mora comes in, landed a left uppercut on the back end of that combination.
Mora doing a little better job this round of taking what Vera's giving him when he comes forward. Mora looking to do a little countering.
Vera chopping down, right hand, short left on the inside. Mora comes up empty, swinging with that left hand. Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Coming to the end of 4, Vera looking pretty good. Good crowd here in Fort Worth. The city's been swarming with Steelers fans. Of course, Cowboys always represented in the Metroplex, and ESPN has made Fort Worth their headquarters and all the preparation leading up to Super Bowl 45. Our Super Sunday coverage will include NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern. Glad you're with us here for Friday Night Fights. It's been an entertaining evening. Had a good co-feature, and now the main event developing into something interesting. Scheduled for 10, round 5, the upset-minded Brian Vera against recent titleist Sergio Mora. Let's look at Teddy Atlas's scorecard. 39-38, Vera, even third round. Vera in pretty good shape right now. Right hand from Vera. Comes in with a sweeping left. Mora fires back. Break! Get back. Break!
Well, I got to give both fighters credit here. I thought this would be an interesting fight, a hard-fought fight, an interesting clash of styles, and even a crossroads fight, you could say, for both guys, and they're behaving like it is that kind of fight, and they're giving us their all.
They are giving a lot here in round number 5, back and forth action.
And I got to give both of them credit. You know, you could get trapped into saying Vera's a one-dimensional guy, always liking to come forward, but he mixes it up a little bit. Yeah, he gets forward for the most part, but every once in a while he'll step out and throw you off a little bit. You know, he won't let you get a track on him. He'll move to the side a little bit, do just enough boxing where all of a sudden when he comes forward, you might not always be ready for it. Throws you off just a little bit, and of course Mora, he'll go inside with you, and he'll go outside and try to pick a little spots, try to keep you off balance with his legs, and then pop you. But again, I think it's that spot work of Mora that sometimes allows Vera to control moments and rhythm of the rounds. See, there Mora shows you he doesn't just have to be an outside fighter. He's inside and he's working in between a little bit. Although Vera trying to be the better guy there. Let's take a little look at the work of Vera tonight. Talking about he's not as one-dimensional as people might think. He goes inside, he goes downstairs, he goes upstairs, then he steps out on you a little bit. And then on the inside, for the most part, he tries to be the busier man.
What a win this would be in his original hometown for Brian Vera. Or can Sergio Mora come on strong here in the second half of this scheduled 10-rounder and maintain his status?
Talked about Vera has been stopped twice, but by big punches. Not in there with a big puncher tonight. Mora has been on the floor a couple times. Matter of fact, Mora just showing once again how much heart Mora has, and one of the reasons why he's a former world champion. He's been on the floor a couple times. He's also come off the floor to win.
Reminder that on Super Sunday, ABC has NBA action. 2:30, it's the Magic and the Celtics. ABC's NBA Sunday Showcase starts with the Buick Regal NBA Countdown at 2 Eastern. Mora now utilizing that jab. Puts a combination together. Good work with the right.
Mora mixing it up again, turning southpaw and doing the scoring a moment ago from that position. So these are the places where Mora gets himself in a little bit of trouble. He goes defensive. Now he got away from the punches, but he allows the rhythm of the fight to go over to Vera when he goes defensive a little too long. The flow of the fight goes to the guy throwing. And again, I think Vera would help himself when Mora's moving his head, if Vera would go downstairs, not upstairs.
And what he may regret is the flow and the rhythm of what the judges are seeing played against the pro-Vera crowd here in Texas.
That's a true point and a good point.
See the CompuBox.
See that time,
there.
sometimes I think referees, and I'm sorry to interrupt that, we look at that numbers there, but what I saw there was, that bothers me. Sometimes the referee will step in and break guys when there's no need to break them, when there's a hand free. Let them fight. Let them work their way out. It is fighting. I'd rather not see the referee if I don't have to. There's a cut. We talked about bleeding. We talked about scar tissue over the left eye of Mora. And we're seeing some proof of that now. As some of that scar tissue has opened up, there's a cut over the left eye of Mora.
4 rounds to go, and Mora will have to deal with that cut over the left eye. ESPN Friday Night Fights brought to you by Michelin, a better way forward. And in part by PokerStars.net. Set up your private online poker club today with home games. And by Burger King, who reminds you to have it your way. The famous Stockyards in Fort Worth. Watch the right hand right there over that top rope. I believe that's the punch that opened up that cut over the left eye of Sergio Mora. Now it's getting to crunch time. Round number 7 as Brian Vera is trying to pull off yet another upset. Mora just talked to us, Teddy. He's commentating on his own fight. I believe he said, Joe, watch this now.
You better watch Vera and not worry about you.
I agree.
Let go. Break.
The cut man in the corner, Mora, Carlos Vargas, in charge of stopping that bleeding. See, this is a place where Mora did a little scoring down the stretch, I thought, with Shane Mosley, where he was on the ropes, but he was moving and countering like that in between. He does a pretty good job of countering on the inside off the ropes with that left hook. But there's a danger to that. While he's looking for that one spot to counter, the other guy is working in a lot of spots. So who winds up winning that moment?
Guys, no punches, no punches. Watch your hands.
If you're back of Mora, I don't think you mind if he ties up in spots. And there's one of those spots. He got off, then he smothered Vera, who's the bigger, maybe the stronger guy on the inside. So maybe that's good, smart work, I think, by Mora. Work a little bit, grab on the inside, don't let the stronger Vera get his way.
CompuBox, the power punches. You see the total punches. 22%. Vera's thrown more. Now the cut coming down the right eye.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Mora having been cut over both eyes, and he was cut in his last fight over the right eye, and that has opened up again, and Vera is opening up again.
Both eyes cut on Sergio Mora.
I'm Carl.
I just spoke to referee Jesse Reyes. The cut over the left eye was caused by a punch. The cut over the right eye on Sergio Mora was caused by a clash of heads. Now, why is that important? because if the fight is stopped because of the damage to the right eye, we would go to the scorecards.
Exactly. If it's stopped because of the damage from the punch over the left eye, well then of course the fight is stopped and Vera is the winner.
Round number 8. Could we have an upset here in Texas? Brian Vera. He's done it before. Sergio Mora. There were many close rounds here. Some rounds very tough to score ringside. But Vera has been riling up his hometown fans here, putting a steady amount of work against Mora. He's thrown more punches. Mora has fought in spots. He's shown his defensive prowess that he's always displayed. But Vera's come in with a good game plan and got off to a good start. A good stop and pop by Mora that time.
A lot of things Mora's dealing with. He's dealing with a fight for the first time, as we said, without his trainer, Dean Campbell's in the corner. He's dealing with a very aggressive, determined fight. He's dealing with cuts over both eyes, and he's dealing also with a little wardrobe malfunction. To me, it looks like his trunks, something happened with his trunks. I don't know if they were too big or the elastic in him all of a sudden went out, but
they're tearing away at the front.
They're tearing away, and he's got tape wrapped around his trunks to keep them up.
You know, I've never seen that, Teddy. We've seen where the trunks may be falling back in the rear, but the actual front of his trunks are tearing away from the belt line. Now, he is wearing the protective cup. We're not going to have a Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction Super Bowl weekend episode here.
No, we're not going to have that. But, again, the tape right now around the trunks is what's keeping them, and the trunks are torn. You can see, again, the trunks have torn. I'm sure that Mora's not worried about that right now, but one of the things that are going against him, or that he's dealing with at least tonight, now there's opportunities for Vera. He's putting on so much pressure. Mora's reacting to that pressure by falling in when Vera gets close to him. Mora will fall in a little bit in spots. That time he did a good job of countering over the top with the right hand. He should do more of that, but every once in a while Mora will fall in like that. Good opportunity in that spot, I think, for Vera to go to the uppercut as he does now.
There's a right hand by Mora. Then he comes in with another one. A wide right hand scored that time. Now Reyes will break him here. Final 10 seconds of the 8th round. And we're staying listening to the corners here. Mora cut over the left eye by a punch in the 6th. Cut over the right eye from a head clash in the 7th. Let's go back and show you what happened in that 7th round to cause that cut to the right eye.
There's a good right hook counter that shouldn't be missed before the headbutt of Vera. You saw Vera got caught with a good right hook and then fell in with his head.
I could see this being the kind of fight where the ringside judges may not give Mora credit for some of these spots where he's had success. He has had success in spots. He's had some clean and effective punches. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see how some of these scorecards play.
Yeah, because the offensive flow, you can make an argument, if you want to make an argument on the other side, that Vera has controlled the rhythm a little more consistently. He's been, I guess you would say, just a little busier during the course of the rounds for the most part.
6 minutes to go. That's it to determine the immediate futures of these two men. See 417 power punches thrown by Vera, landing at a lower percentage than Mora.
You know, you don't see a lot of fighters get a chance to do endorsements or commercials, but I have a good one for Vera.
What is it?
A spot remover. Because we've been talking about the spots of Mora all night, and Vera has removed those spots the old-fashioned way, just being busy, staying right on top of them, not allowing Mora to have those moments. Or grab those spots.
With Mora right on top of our broadcast spot, we have plenty of red spots across all our materials with these 2 cuts over his eyes. A lot of his blood has been spraying ringside.
Now, that was a good example of why some of these rounds could be difficult to score, and it depends on the way the judges are looking at him. Vera's been the busier guy throughout this round, but a moment ago, he's thrown a lot, but Mora did a good job, like he did right there, of countering in between one of those spots. I don't know whether or not it's enough, though. I don't know if Mora is just doing too little in between, if it's enough spots. There was a good spot again by Mora.
A right and a left landing from Mora.
I think this is a good round. It's become a good round for Mora. Yeah, Vera's probably winning the battle of punch numbers, but Mora landing the clean shots in between.
And that's when you get controversial scoring, where people are greatly divided. The quantity versus quality argument. The aggressor versus the effective guy.
Exactly, Joe, and this round is a good illustration of that. Again, Vera the busier guy, but Mora doing a good job of landing clean shots in spots.
And I'll tell you, in this round, Mora is also quite busy.
Yeah, I should say Mora doing a good job of landing in spots.
Let him go. Let him go.
You can see Mora knows. Good body shot there by Mora. You can see that he knows that there's a chance that Vera has outworked him. And Mora really pushing the envelope this round. Doing something he normally doesn't do, and which is to lead with the pressure. Not just look for spots on the outside, but actually push it.
This is the end of A. Down deep here.
Deep. Suck it up. We need to get back down to 0, sir. We need to start this fight all over from this moment. Don't blow your nose. We need to start this fight all over from right here. Come on. Take a deep breath. Take a Come on. Back to 0. Deep breath. Beautiful stuff on the inside. Beautiful stuff. Those uppercuts, they're killing them, baby. They're killing them. Let's get back to them. Grind this round out. Fight like this is the last round for the rest of your life, because this might be it. We need to figure out we're going to win this fight in this round.
Don't get sucked in. Don't listen to the crowd. Win the round. Cool?
No brawling.
Right,
no brawling.
You work too hard. Win the round. Don't let him get lucky. Half step is there. Yeah. Half step and move left.
Mike Delaware telling Brian Vera, don't let him get lucky. I think they're confident with where they stand here. Jeremy Williams telling Sergio Mora, fight this round like it's the last round of your life. 10th and final round, Mora and Vera. Been a pretty good one here tonight in our main event. Hard to judge. Teddy has it 87-85. Vera, could it be an upset?
Obviously, Vera's corner is thinking along the lines of the scorecard that I have, because they just, as you said, Joe, very well, they just basically told him to make a concession. I think they saw what I saw. Mora landed some good body shots, some good shots and clean shots that affected Vera. And Vera's corner said, hey, don't stay with him this round. Box a little bit. Almost telling him what you're going to hear maybe on Sunday, going to a little prevent.
It's a right hand by Mora.
And you can see Vera did make an adjustment. Maybe a little concession. Not going inside as much this round. Trying to box a little bit more this round. Keep Mora off bounds a little bit this round. Mora's let up a little this round, which is surprising. Unless that gas needle is going a little towards empty, because you would expect Mora to pick up where he left off the last round. And on my scorecard, he needed to do that. Good
Final
round.
minute.
Good round the last round for Mora, but at what price? Maybe at the price of taking enough out of him where he couldn't do it again this round, although he's pushing it now.
Tremendous effort in that 9th round, and now I think many here ringside feel that he would have to rally here in the 10th. There are many close rounds in this fight. Could this be a determining one here? There's a good short left hand on the inside as Vera presses forward. Looked like another clash of heads.
No, but you know,
that clash opened up that cut on the right eye.
Yeah, it looks like now Vera cut the corner of the right eye. But Mora doing a good job of scoring this round again with those left hooks, with those counter shots.
Both men bloodied.
You know, again, very, very busy, but Mora, really, the last 2 rounds, he's landing the clean punches, the effective punches.
10 rounds of battle between 2 determined participants. Both finish up bloodied around the eyes. Brian Vera may have one of the best wins of his career. Sergio Mora is hoping he did enough in the eyes of the judges.
Did anybody say draw? I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't either. Could it be? We will find out. Many close rounds. Good fought action. We'll hear from the judges when we return. Now for our main event. Teddy's scorecard says 96-95 Vera. Could Vera pull off the upset here? The Latin Snake, Sergio Mora, trying to maintain his status, the recent world titleist. Let's find out. Send it up to the ring to Lupe Contreras. Well, we're having some audio difficulties with the ring announcer, Lupe Contreras. So the boxers patiently wait here as they will give Contreras a new microphone.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Fort Worth Convention Center, we go to the scorecards. Judge Broadgroom scores about 96-94 in favor of Mora. Judge Sparks, 96-94 in favor of Vera. And Judge Velasquez scores at 96-94 in favor of the winner by way of split decision, Brian Vera.
That is a huge win for Brian Vera. The tough, gritty Texan came in with a good plan. He was focused and determined, and he just squeaks by the recent titleist Sergio Mora, becoming only the 2nd man to ever get a win against Mora. The other one, Vernon Forrest, the world champion. Heck of an upset for Vera.
And a heck of a fight for us. Vera did it the old-fashioned way. He earned it. He came forward all night long. I thought that the fight switched a little bit in the late rounds where Mora started landing the cleaner punches. But the way the judges saw it in a very close fight, nobody could argue either way. It was a close fight. They saw it where Vera, the busier guy for the most part, controlled the theme and the rhythm of the fight enough to give it to him. That was one of the things that we were commentating on, is that Mora likes to go into those spots, and Vera, at least to the judges, stole the rounds in some of those spots by being busier.
Remember what Sergio Mora said earlier tonight. Somebody shut me up because I think I'm one of the best in the world. Brian Vera went out to do just that tonight.